Good afternoon. This is Dwight Davis. Just a short time ago, the Virginia Symphony announced the appointment of a new music director. The noted American conductor and cellist Eric Jacobsen will be the 12th music director in the Virginia Symphony's 100-year history, succeeding Joanne Falletta. Eric Jacobsen has garnered high praise for his music making at several levels and has been hailed by the Los Angeles Times as helping to ensure the future of classical music in America. I had the privilege of speaking with Eric recently and asked him for a thumbnail sketch of his career up to this point.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I'm a cellist by training. I grew up in a musical family. My father, violinist, played in the Met Opera for 30 years. My mother was a flutist, played in various New York orchestras and taught a lot. And my brother, who's 4 years older than me, is a violinist, incredible violinist who I play with quite a bit to this day. And here's the story is that when I was 4, I wanted to play violin, of course, like my older brother and my father. And, 2 violins and a flute all in one house, that's too much high treble.
Too much treble, right?
Too much treble. So no more trouble. And they needed to give me, and I was always a little tall. I was always a couple inches taller. So they're like, you know what? The cello is right for you. Now, I don't remember any of that, so it all could be just lore at this point. And who knows, maybe I wanted to play trombone, but they gave me cello, and I loved it. It was fun, but it wasn't the thing like it was for my brother. My brother was 7. He's like, I'm going to become a violinist. And sure enough, he played with the New York Philharmonic, the concerto, when he was 13 years old. And
Wow.
He just knew. He knew. And for me, I went to a music camp when I was 11 or 12. It was 11, 12, and 13. And I kind of fell in love with this community of people who had a shared love of music, and I just wanted to be a part of that community. I wanted to get to know those people. Those were the people I wanted to spend time with, music lovers and music makers. And so I started to practice a little bit more, started to dig deep. It happened to coincide with a time when my father kept on saying to me, the better you get, the more fun you'll have, and it totally was true, even though, of course, for a young teenager, well, what could a parent say that's not untrue?
Exactly.
So, started practicing, and then I really kind of dug very deep. So, from age 11 till college, I just went, head first into trying to do everything I could to become a cellist that I, would be proud to be, and studied so hard. And I went to Juilliard for college for cello, and I did study conducting in school, and I always loved it, but it was always with the understanding that if I could be a cellist, whether in an orchestra, but probably I was really geared towards chamber music, then I would have kind of found my place, and I would have been happy. And I felt so lucky, after college, in addition to starting the Knights, which is a chamber orchestra that at first started really with mostly unconducted, smaller repertoire, and then I started conducting that more. I had a string quartet called Brooklyn Rider, which I played in for about 10 years. That was with my brother and 2 incredibly close friends, and we played together. And after a number of years, I thought, this is great, but for some reason, I'm more and more attracted to this idea of conducting, and I really think it stems from my parents having these chamber music parties and them inviting their friends over when I was a kid. And then when I was a teenager, my brother and I would invite, 30 friends over after music school on Saturdays. We'd read chamber music. I think it really stemmed from that desire to have parties and play music all at the
Right.
same time. So what does a conductor do? Well, it gathers humans and hopefully, puts us in, a shared mindset and kind of like a catalyst for mutual understanding. And I feel like that was the reason I ended up saying, this is what I need to do. And, my father being a musician in an orchestra for so long, I think he used to make fun of a lot of conductors and possibly dislike them. And so I think I grew up thinking that the trade, the conducting, maybe didn't have all of the beauty that being an instrumentalist does and did. And to this time, it's still, I feel like I have embraced. I know what it takes to be an instrumentalist. The incredible, deep training that we all need to do to maintain our instrument. And conducting, it's just as hard in such a beautifully different way. So I think it engaged a different part of my brain over the last 15 years, and it's been since becoming a conductor and really saying this is what I do, I feel like I've actually recognized how deep that entire vast universe of conducting and being a music director and all those things. So at this point, I still play a lot of cello, but having made this more formal switch and left my string quartet, it feels like that's my calling right now. I just love it so much.
Eric Jacobsen, the newly appointed music director and conductor of the Virginia Symphony. For more information on Mr. Jacobsen and the upcoming Virginia Symphony season, go to the website at virginiasymphony.org.